Hello everyone, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all today? Wherever you are in the world, a huge shout out to you and thank you for tuning in. Also, thank you for your comments on my channeling of Sigmund Freud. I did that channeling about a year ago for another platform. Don't know a smaller platform. I don't know why I didn't release it on YouTube. Something just made me hold it back, and when it was the right time, bring it forward. But thank you for your comments on that, and also my reading with Dr. Vicky Scarborough. It's always a joy to read with her, and your comments have been very affirming because we read on Australia's natal chart. We had a look at that, and it was good to take a focus to the world because, as I said to Vicky, we are all global citizens, and what happens in one, like we're part of a collective, and what happens in one area ultimately comes back in some way to impact on us. So now it's time to look at, I think we'll take a look at Alexei Navalny. He is very ill in prison. My past readings has indicated he would die in prison. Putin, of course, has made him a president for life. When I've looked at Putin's natal chart, I don't feel he will be president for life. He's going to, it's sort of like the Ides of March. He was there at the right time for Russia to bring Russia forward in terms of its wealth. Unfortunately, he cultivated his own wealth and became one of the richest men in the world. And if you haven't seen Putin's summer palace, you should go and have a look. It's on YouTube. And of course, he is embodying the excesses that many leaders in the past in Russia have been brought down for. He is now trying to really consolidate his power, and this skin of a democracy, if you like, that he was pushing forward is becoming very much visible that it is a dictatorship. So Alexei Navalny's imprisonment, there's already been one attempt on his life. He is the opposition leader in Russia, if you can call it an opposition. And he has been imprisoned and has now really come out and said, look, they're killing me. So let's have a look at Alexei Navalny and what will happen post that. Alexei Navalny, will he die in prison? Will Putin kill him? He's been trying. Will he finally kill Alexei Navalny? The truth, the Ace of Swords and the truth. So in Putin's natal chart and just my intuitive channelings or readings or feelings, Putin miscalculates. He miscalculates, and as a result, they turn on him. And it is someone or people around him that betray him. Putin, by the way, is quite psychic. It's there in his natal chart. So he is betrayed by those around him, those closest to him. And it is as a result of a miscalculation, something that he's gone too far, or there's something that he misses, that he doesn't shore up. And as a result, he is deposed. Is it Navalny? Of course, this is a yes card, and great injustices like murder bring forward change. And I'll get to George Floyd's trial shortly, but let's finish with this. This is Navalny. He's at the end of a cycle. He's carrying a huge load. It's also a challenge to the truth. So you can see whether you like or dislike Navalny. He has come through with a purpose as to be this kind of, make this huge sacrifice. Because, for why? Because the truth needs to come forward. Many societies, including the US, are undergoing great change as a result of that truth coming forward. Navalny has a part to play in that as well. Let's see what's at the foundation. Yeah, the Eight of Cups. This is, takes on a very spiritual kind of meaning, where you're moving away from what no longer serves you and you're moving toward the light. You're going to find another pathway forward. This is also resignation is at the foundation of the reading. So is this what contributes to Putin's downfall? Let's keep going. The Sun in the past. I'm just getting a real spiritual feeling around this. This is, total illumination. It's a breakthrough. It's the storm, storm clouds that pass and the sun comes out. That is in the past position. So again, Alexei has his role to play. That whole opposition movement. The fact that we get Putin doubling down on replacing regional mayors and pushing through, the fact that he can be president for another 2 terms. I think it's until 2036. These are all power moves of someone who feels threatened. It's a way of drawing power closer to them, of removing the gaps. So Alexei had a role to play in shining a light on Putin's dictatorship and how Russia was actually really being run for the oligarchs, for the power, and less about the people. Now, in some parts of Russia, Putin's still very popular. Strong men are, or can be. But they're only so for a certain amount of time. If they don't deliver, if they don't give back, if they don't bring forward wealth for the people, then they're seen as what they are: thugs and bullies and dictators. So, like everything, Putin's facing this kind of movement toward bringing out the truth. Let's see what's in the sky. We have the Page of Cups. So there is going to be some surprise news coming forward around Alexei in prison. There's also an offer of something here. My past readings always indicate that a woman comes forward. This pages always draw information about them. There's something around emotions here that is going to come through, and it could be when Alexei does, if he crosses over, there is this uprising in Russia. The Eight of Pentacles. This is around a money issue, but it's also around somebody that has a skill here. They're holding a pentacle. This could be Alexei in prison, for example. I don't know what he's writing, if he's writing something, but Russia's at the crossroads in terms of its history. And what happens now, I'm getting the feeling, has a long, really longer term reverberation. The Eight of Cups. This is someone who is making everything okay, who comes forward with this cup. It's the energy of Putin, and that's why he's still popular in many parts of Russia, that he knows exactly how to charm people and how to come forward as, this strong image, but also with, this humour when he's appearing in public, and, almost he will often appear humble in a way. So, he has these two sides to him. In the atmosphere around, we've got the Four of Pentacles, and I do feel this is the imprisonment of Alexei. I do feel this is for Alexei. He is writing something in prison that will become a very important document in years to come. But this is also Putin's insecurity. So here he is presenting as the Knight of Cups. And here he is with this insecurity here. These two cards, the energy doesn't flow between them. One is someone who charms and comes forward with this charisma, and the other is someone who is insecure and is holding something back. Let's see what's in the hopes and fears. So we've got the Eight of Wands, messages coming forward. We often don't know what's coming out of Russia. For example, they've been hit because of the propaganda media there. They've been hit very hard with the pandemic, in terms of loss of life, but also the downturn in oil sales. So we've got some news that speeds to us. Often that is what occurs. So in the Eight of Wands, you've got multiple news coming out. Now we have the Devil card here, which is this need. It's toxicity. It's having someone imprisoned. It's the lust for power. But the Devil card is only transitory, because it's also an ending. It represents something that needs to transform. Toxicity can't stay that way forever. And we would all do well to remember that, whether we're in a situation that is toxic or whether we need to have a look at where we're being toxic. It needs transformation. And we have the King of Swords. So the truth. Now the fact that Ace came out, these are two opposing energies. We go from something that is toxic and something that needs to be transformed to something that is transformed. And we've got the deception here. So what I'm getting in this reading is that Alexei is playing a role while he's imprisoned within Russia, forget about what the world thinks, to transform and break open the truth about a deception and about the greed and avarice and the lies of Putin. So my intuitive feeling, I'm not getting this in the cards. I'm not seeing the Death card, for example. Sometimes spirit won't work like that. But what I'm seeing here is a transformation and a moving into this Aquarian energy. And something really powerful has to occur in Russia for that to happen. And I do think it will ultimately be the passing of Alexei Navalny. Now, in other readings, and you can go back, because this isn't the first time I've read on him, you can go back and see that it seems to be a woman that comes up through the opposition power structure or system to really step forward with that opposition to Putin. Putin's going to be called out. This isn't going to go on forever with him. So let's have a look at the backlash now. So much to read on. I've been busy of late. My dog got very injured, and then his wound got infected, and I've been back and forth to the vets and trying to dress his wound and keep it from becoming infected, and that and other work and life I guess pressures have kept me from reading, but I've got a backlog of questions that people have asked. So let's see if we can't get through some of them. I do want to get to George Floyd as well. I do feel, again, there will be justice for George Floyd. And I think that the judge's closing statements or something occurs where it's a springboard for policy, and you will see change. And of course, change is needed because you've had another killing, a murdering of a black man by a female officer. It's hard to grasp. It's hard to imagine what would make an officer fire at just pulling someone over for a traffic infringement, make them fire a gun at a young adult, like in the way that they did. What would make them do that? Fear. It's literally a trigger reaction. She didn't set out to say, I'm going to murder a black man today, but she did. So why? Why is that? Yes, racism is the overarching concept, but what makes these officers, white in the main, white officers, kill, murder? So there is a fundamental problem that needs to be addressed, obviously, and I think some of that will come through the result of Floyd's trial. So now we've been talking about it, let's move to justice for George Floyd. Let's see what I can bring forward here. Justice for George Floyd. It offers a window of opportunity, that's what I'm seeing, to look at that shadow, look at what's in the shadow. And that is what people are doing, whether they're here or whether they're all over the world, because we get the trial footage as well here in Australia. It goes to these big, as I said, huge issues that we see coming out of America. Black people being mowed down by police that are supposed to be there to uphold the law. People taking assault rifles into schools and murdering children. Gun laws, where you see people toting around machine guns on their back or assault rifles or whatever they are, toting around, walking, slinging guns on their hips. I could only imagine what that might feel like to walk down the street to get a coffee and see someone walking around with a gun on their hip or slung over their back. How intimidating that might feel. And then you add the colour of your skin to that. There is something fundamentally going wrong here. Okay, so George Floyd, let's see. George Floyd, is there going to be justice? Yeah, I keep getting somebody's writing policy and it's huge land-breaking legislation or something. There's something coming out of that will change, that will cause change. Will there be justice for George Floyd? Will there be justice? I think Chauvin is going to be convicted. That's what I think. The Seven of Pentacles, this is a time of review. Something is not working here. And we need to go back to the drawing board and make another plan, because this plan has failed. And we're seeing how much that has failed. We have what is the challenge there is the Queen of Swords. So this can sometimes represent the attorneys, the law. It can also be a woman coming forward. She can also have, can be a prosecutor, a judge. This can be domestic stability. Not so much domestic stability. It's talking about bringing forward through logic, through knowledge, through the law. The law is failing here, and that is what needs to be reviewed. Something around the legal process is failing here, and that's what needs to be reviewed. Now, what I think it is that those in some states where black people have been mowed down by police for no other reason than they've been shot, including in their homes. The law there wasn't that justice done. And so there needs to be some kind of change, that there is some penalty for police who do this and don't just get away with it and say it was an accident. So we've got this review, this latest Black Death is also adding to this review. Let's see what's at the foundation. Yeah, it's the law here. The King of Swords is there going to be justice for George Floyd. The King. This is the strength of the reading, and this is bringing forward law. So I have now the Queen and the King. It's the review of the law. So in the past we have the Three of Cups, circles of support, protecting those who do this. That's in the past. Judgment. Okay, now we're getting to the syntax of this. This is in the sky, and this is potential. The potential for judgment, an ending of something that needs to be fixed. It's an inevitable judgment. You can't not bring it forward. It's so clear that to not bring it forward would be, well, I don't know. There would be no justice if it's not brought forward. So we've got the Fool card, a new beginning. These are also yes cards. I feel strongly that there will be justice for George Floyd. This is a higher source. You can see all the light coming through. We've got crown, third eye, voice chakras, throat chakras. The Hierophant is the courts, the government. That's in the here and now. And we've got the Ten of Swords, which was his downfall. And I've long thought that he was, a martyr. The way that he passed was so graphically wrong. This is also Chauvin. So right now, that's him. Now, in the past, we have, in the Hopes and Fears, we've got the Seven of Swords. There's lies being told. Now, the prosecution's case has rested. It's now, I think, the defence's turn. They're telling lies. They're telling lies. And the fear is that those lies will stick. Why wouldn't people fear that? Because that has been the case in the past. So we have the toxicity, the devil here, transforming something interesting that has come forward in the outcome position. We have the Knight of Cups, and we have the Crossroads card. So isn't that interesting? This is what Spirit has given us in the outcomes. And, I feel that when these sort of cards come up, it's time, we're in the review period. It's time for us to really think about what is occurring here. That we've got this toxic energy here. This represents Chauvin. I think it's quite clear in his past. He did what he did. This is the devil energy here. And we've got the spin, trying to spin it in another way. And in the Hopes and Fears, are we going to be let down yet again? There are heavy decisions to be made. Now, I'm going to draw a clarifier on that because this is an important question. We have the Nine of Swords, the anxiety, sleepless nights. We have somebody defending themselves. And we have the Page of Swords bringing forward the truth. These aren't I don't, I'm not in America. It's not a lived experience. I don't have that lived experience as a black person. But there are heavy decisions to be made now. So I'm going to draw a clarifier on that Two of Swords. Let's just give the card deck a good shuffle. I do want to get to one more question before I finish. Heavy decisions to be made, a crossroads. Heavy decisions. Two of Swords, please. Can you clarify? Can you clarify that Two of Swords, please? Can you clarify the Two of Swords? Will Chauvin be convicted? The Hanged Man, something's going to hold something up. The Hanged Man, suspension, Four of Cups. So, I don't know I didn't look at what the charges were, but there will be one charge proven. And we've got the Six of Cups. This, of course, is our higher selves, but also going back to the past. And we've got our King of Swords. So there's a way to go. And I should say in Australia in the last few weeks we had, was it 4 Black Deaths in custody? We've a way to go to reach this kind of energy. But George Floyd's, murder, death is contributing to this, getting toward this. So will we then get some kind of legislation coming out of this now? Will we get some sort of legislation? There's a time passage here, and there's a great divide. So will there be legislation that helps to stop this happening again? Queen of Pentacles. This is some kind of bringing stability into something. The Knight of Cups, an offer here. That Knight came forward. And the Page of Swords, some kind of truth coming out. And finally we get to the Ace of Wands. So after a passage of time, somebody's going to bring forward legislation that will make it harder for police when they shoot black people who are doing no wrong. It will make it harder for them to get away with it. Now, I know you have various state laws. This law might come at the federal level. Okay, so one more question. The corporations, multiple corporations, Google, dare I say, the Amazon Word, and other huge corporations are really flexing their muscles and against voter suppression. Now, you might be wondering why they're doing that. Why are they doing it? Is it out of the goodness of their heart? Not saying that they're all bad. However, it is in their interest to preserve democracy. They have a stake in preserving democracy. Voter suppression laws eventually could allow dictatorships. That is not in their interests. They are interested in preserving a capitalist society. Okay. So will the corporations be successful in fighting voter suppression laws? Will the big corporations, big money, be successful? There's nothing speaks to power like money, does it? I'm just seeing a stake through the heart. And they're serious, so you can expect more of this. Will the big corporations be successful in fighting voter suppression? Oh, yeah, and they're serious too. This is a fight. Taking control. Who's in control? Taking control of something. The Emperor card. Challenged by something at the crossroads. They're going to take it right to the governors and to whoever's in power that might be responsible here. And as a result, that those power structures will be there will be pressure brought to them around their decision making. We have the Nine of Cups. This is the merchant card. You know, I'm all right. This is wish fulfillment. I've got a lot of cups here. You know, I'm in the box seat. The corporations are toasting something. They've got a lot of power, and it comes from the past. How they this is the system that worked for them in the past. They don't want to see that lost. And here is the potential, the Queen of Wands. This is a movement that's going to grow. You're just going to keep hearing a lot about it. In many ways, it's just at the beginning. Yeah, absolutely. Look at these strong cards. In fact, I'll bring the laptop down so you can see them. We have the Ace of Swords here in the immediate future, the Queen of Wands, the Nine of Cups, miracles, wish fulfillment, the power structures being pressure being placed upon them. We have the Six of Cups in the past, the system that worked for them. Now, at the moment, we have the Two of Pentacles, and this person has to make a decision about which ship is going to, you know, hit the rocks. This is what they're doing to those red states that are passing these laws. They are putting pressure on them to decide. Now we have the Lovers card. They're caught betwixt and between in trying to satisfy the Trump base, the Lovers card, do those deals with their base and the finances, and they're walking that tightrope. Who's going to win? What's going to prevail? The downfall here, in many ways, the Ten of Swords is the ending of a cycle. It's in the hopes and fears position. If they don't get donations, they can't run campaigns. So this is a powerful lobby, and I see them. It's like they're throwing wands at the heart of those that are seeking to manipulate. The Ten of Pentacles. This is one time. This is the war chest, of course. They've got a war chest at their disposal. This is the one time when big money is going. You know, that when we're not afraid of big money having a win. They absolutely are going to have a win. It could be, you could see in some of those states with women governors, you might see some kind of turnaround here, because I'm just seeing women here. And yeah, we've got wounded here. They're absolutely going to take a victory, and also maybe toward some of these women governors that are passing these draconian voter suppression laws. I think Iowa, is it? Yeah, absolutely. They're going to take a victory. They're putting people on notice. We do have the Star, which is it is hopeful. Moving in the right direction. We have the Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving help. And also an underlying issue here is the storming of the Capitol. They're going to do a lot of damage. Even this action by your big corporations is not being lost on the voters either. So, at the moment, the wind is in our sails. To achieve. Okay, so with work, of course. So the corporations are going to have a victory. We're going to see that eventually. All right, I'll leave that there. It's getting to be a long reading. I do want to read next on Tucker Carlson's future. We might do a Shakara reading on him. He's come out with some absurd, offensive diatribe around replacement theory, which is absolutely abominable words coming out of his mouth, a racist, white supremacist type of words. And there are many calling for his sacking. I want to look at will vaccines eliminate CV, the virus? Will they? Will they? And I also then want to go to New York and ask Will Weiselberg, the former guy's chief financial officer, will he flip? My feeling is he won't. And how close are those indictments? Because they're coming. And the former guy knows it because he's hired a criminal defence attorney. Somebody that is quite well respected and I think might have even been a prosecutor in the past. So we know there are indictments coming. Also want to know, will those indictments be for the former guy's children? Because I've got a feeling they will be too. That will be next time. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Also, before I go, it's looking increasingly like I've always felt that the Scotland would break away from the Union, from Great Britain, and it's looking increasingly like that might be a reality. The SNP, which is the Scottish government, it looks like it's going to be returned to power. It's campaigned for a mandate to bring forward another independence referendum, and of course, if that is allowed by England, of course that we'll see what happens. But my feeling has always been that in the longer term, Scotland gains independence. That's one to watch. All right, I'll be back again with another reading soon. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your donations. Bye for now.